Dan,
Talk to me, Terry.
I've had some time to think and reflect on my holiday.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're a jinx.
How? How are we possibly a jinx, Terry?
In 2022, when we started picking our wooden spooners, we picked the Cowboys to come last.
Mm-hmm. Prelim.
And they finished third and got to a prelim.
Yep.
Last year,
No, one off. Who cares?
last year we tipped the Warriors and they finished
Prelim.
fourth, got to a prelim. This year we've picked the Dragons and the Cowboys in the bottom four and they're first after round one. I am starting to think that maybe next year we tip the Sharks.
I regret nothing.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws brought to you by our good friends at Top Sport. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
It's nice of you to show up for work, Terry.
Thank you, yeah. Look, I watched the two episodes while I was away and all I can say is it's good to have me back.
Yeah, well, your words and your words only.
Thank you to our guests who are on the show. But Dan, we're here because Rugby League is back. Round one is done and dusted.
Finally a full weekend of rugby league.
And it just means that we have a couple more days until we get Rugby League.
Look, it does, which is always nice because I don't know if you know, Terry, but I like rugby league.
I do love me some Rugby League. Now, someone who loves his Rugby League, but not the position that he's in at the moment,
Yep.
Zach Lomax. Now, I've got some thoughts on this, so I'm going to go to you first. What is your take on Zach Lomax and his manager reaching out to clubs after Shane Flanagan has said to him, you're one of the worst centres in the competition last year based off numbers. I'm going to put you on the wing and see how you go. Spoiler alert, he had an absolute ripper on the weekend.
He did. He played very
Career
well.
high in run meters.
I think he's
Career
gotta
high
go
in
front now and
runs.
say thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Look, last year he was pretty terrible. Let's call a spade a spade. Spent a lot of time in New South Wales Cup. I know changing sides didn't help. Good centres can adapt. Good players. Zach Lomax is a player that came in with tremendous hype, justifiably so. Everyone said this kid's going to play Origin. He played New South Wales Cup before he played for New South Wales, and I think that's completely fair. He's come in, all the talk was that he was going to get first shot at fullback. Flanagan's looked at it and gone, actually, you're not in the top two centres in the team, which is an embarrassment really when you look at the other centre, Jack Bird. You're going to play on the wing. He could have handled this one of two ways. He could have come out and had a blaster of a game, knuckled down and said, you know what, I'm going to get my centre spot back. He did half of that. But before he went out there and had arguably one of the best games of his career, supposedly, reportedly, his manager said, he ain't happy, come get us. That says to me, Parramatta, come get me, because they desperately need a centre. Given the games on the weekend, he played very well, but his last performance at centre, does he even get into that team at centre? I think he's just got to take his medicine, play really well on the wing. Maybe his way to Origin is via the wing, or wait till someone inevitably gets injured, go into centres, dominate, get your spot back. Earn it. Nothing is given. I think Flanagan's in the correct.
Yeah, I hear you. And the thing that you said there about his way in Origin is on the wing, I believe so. I believe that his best crack is on the wing. I don't like the fact that before he's even played a game on the wing, he's turned around to his manager and said, get me out of here. Now, had he gone out on the weekend and been a miserable sack and dropped the ball and put down a couple of high bombs and had some bad defensive reads, you could probably turn around and go, okay, yeah, I hate this wing stuff, right? But you then got to think, if you had a couple of bad defensive reads, it's exactly the same as in the centres. That's what Flanagan was saying to. Here's my take on this, right? Now, despite what your thoughts are on Shane Flanagan, whether you like him or you loathe him, Shane Flanagan knows more about football than Zach Lomax.
Yep, undisputedly.
And if he turns around to you and says, at the moment, at this point in time in the season, we don't need you as a centre, we need you as a winger until I figure everything else out with this squad, then you go and play on the wing.
Mm-hmm.
You got a premiership winning coach and a coach, despite his past and what he's done, who's actually a tremendous coach. Just listen to him. Because Jack Bird is going to get injured. Moses Sewell is either going to get injured, suspended, or be out of form. Just bide your time.
Bide your time.
You'll end the year in the centres.
If he deserves it, I 100% agree. I think he played really well to his credit the other night. He knows if he goes out and play badly, every club's going to go, well, we want this guy.
Yeah.
So if that's what he needs to get to that next level and be a good player again, whatever. But don't be playing these games, mate.
Yeah.
You have not earned the right.
In 5 weeks, if you're killing it on the wing and there's still no looking for you in the centres, reach out to Parramatta, reach out to Canberra, reach out to Newcastle. Don't reach out to the Bulldogs. Perhaps give the Tigers a call.
Yes.
Do all of
You've got to
that.
earn it, though.
Earn it first, yeah. Dan? The next one's yours.
It is. I am known as a positive person. Somewhat. I have a negative thought, Terry. I know. Stop the presses. I had a look on the weekend and thought there are some very ordinary halves combinations in the NRL right now. It is very difficult to go in with. Now I know there was an injury to Foran, and there's always an injury to Foran, so you have to prepare for life without Foran. And you go in with young Weaver, and you got Tanner Boyd as your halves, and you say to me that they're going to play football well. Not for me. You look at the Dolphins, who Cody Nikorima had a few good games last year. So did Sean O'Sullivan. Put them together. They were bog ordinary on the weekend.
Oh, Cody Nikorima stunk.
He was awful. And I mean, the Dragons, they got a half in who is a half, played better football. Surprise, surprise. The Bulldogs have got a guy who played a bit of centre and, a bit of lock last year, playing as their starting halfback. Meanwhile, you got Toby Sexton, who's actually a halfback, albeit not a great one, sitting in New South Wales Cup, playing very, very well.
And
you put him next to Matt Burton. It's hard to get excited.
Matt Burton's a better centre than he. Yeah.
It's hard to get excited with ordinary halves.
I tell you what, I honestly thought that the worst halves combination that we were going to see this weekend was going to be Ethan Strange and Jamal Fogarty, and they ended up tearing it up, right?
They did. Well, Newcastle, Tyson Gamble,
yeah,
and
Jackson Hastings.
Maybe Willie Mason had a point.
You got a guy sitting on your bench who won a premiership at 5'8", and he can't get into the team ahead of Tyson
best footy
Gamble.
came when he came on the field too. So.
Yeah, I look. Yeah, I hear. I really do. And this is now again, someone like Chad Townsend, who, whilst we don't have very many positive things to say about him when he was in our team, he's still a competent game manager and he has a superstar outside him.
Yeah, he's a halfback.
Yeah, he's a halfback. Tom Dearden is a classy 5'8". He's a rep player. They can carry it with Robson and Drinkwater at the back. They can carry Townsend.
Yes, they can.
But if you've got more scrubs around more scrubs,
it's just... Okay, Chad, who, we don't have much good to say. He's a halfback. Drew Hutchinson's not a halfback. No. Matt Burton's not a halfback. Tanner Boyd isn't a first grader in any position. You got blokes that are good footballers, but you look at the Bulldogs, right? And I don't want to go on a rant because I won't stop. You think, okay, Drew Hutchinson isn't playing very well. They've got 15 other utilities. Put someone else there, and they're like, nah, we'll just stick with this guy. Watch him tear the Sharks up now. Me have to eat these words. But so help me God, if that's the best those teams I mentioned have, just give it up.
What I will say about these ordinary halves, though, is they weren't as ordinary as the Panthers halves.
They weren't.
No points.
True, but they're coming off 50 great games.
Points.
Yeah, okay, fair.
No points. Now, Dan, this next point, I've been thinking it. It's been in my head. But you're going to be the one brave enough to say it.
Wayne Bennett has lost his marbles. Are you kidding me? Did you see that side he named for the Dolphins over the weekend? Yeah, I get it. Round 1, they played a good Cowboys team. Blah, blah, blah. You had on the bench, or no, not even on the bench, their best forward last year, Jared Wallace, is sitting there in a bib. You got Jay Cavarillo. Yeah, he was 18th man. You got Jay Cavarillo, who
played for North Devils.
It's just a fantastic centre and their big recruit outside the other two big ones. So one of their big recruits, I should have said, not even in the team. Meanwhile, you got the oldest, most immobile forward pack in the game. Ewan Aiken couldn't even get a spot. And if you've given me Felice Kafusi or Ewan Aiken, I'm taking Aiken because he can move sideways. Kafusi can go up and back and not much more of that. They are old and they got torn up by a decent to mid-level Cowboys pack. God help them when they run into a good side, because with this bloke, they're done. The Dolphins are done. I'm saying it right now. You heard it here first. Done.
Now, the Dolphins were a team that you and I were saying we're going to teeter on the top 8.
I'll take it back.
Yeah, if there's one call I'm ready to take back after looking at that, because if that's the best their forward pack can get, injuries, suspensions, form, oh boy.
Old boy is right. Now, Connolly Lemuelu did get injured, which threw the rotation out. Ray Stone came in and was bog ordinary. Jesse Bromwich is just... Now, Tom Flegler had a good game, but he's one bloke. Outside of that, I couldn't name a forward on their team that was in the top 10 on the field. Nanai had a field day, and he didn't have a great end of the season. Lukey had a field day. McLean came on and was the best prop in the first half an hour. With the greatest respects to him, he used to be a really good player. Dolphins, Mad Monday beckons.
You're done.
Oh, my God. Did you see the pre-match interview? On Channel 9, they're hyping up this interview. Fatty Vorton's one-on-one with Wayne Bennett. Fatty's like, Wayne, it's really good to see, mate. How's the off-season? Yeah, it was good. And then they look at each other, and Fatty goes, what do you make about the new recruits coming in? Yeah, they're doing well. Fatty goes, all right, let's make a Jonathan Thurston joke. Ha, ha, ha. And Bennett goes, and they cut off. Why bother? The bloke's gone. Get it over with. You're coming last.
Now, in the Dolphins-Cowboys game...
No more negativity, Terry.
We had arguably the worst refereeing call in quite some time. The only person who thought that was a penalty try was the video ref. It, like Chris Butler didn't even hint at that. He was like, can you let me know if Jack Bostock knocked it dead or if it just went dead?
Yep.
There was no call for a penalty try. He didn't even say, can you review a penalty try?
The Warriors looked, the Cowboys looked at the ball and thought, nah, we're already up. We're going to score 50.
The commentators had no... Cooper Cronk on Fox was saying, oh, it's going out to the 20.
Yep, easy.
Next minute, Chris Butler's blowing a try.
Yeah,
Can you let me know how they came to that conclusion?
My thinking is that they were sure someone was going to score until Bostock pushed them away. My thinking is, that's not how you adjudicate rugby league, you dead set so-and-sos. They'd overrun the ball.
Yeah.
They looked at each other, they thought, oh, he's going to score, and then they see him go, drat, that's a shocker. Bostock bumps him out of the way, gets the ball, and he's running back to the 20. I completely get him looking at the, thinking, oh, it might have bounced up. You've got to get the restart right. I'm okay with that. Chris Butler did nothing wrong. And then Casey Badger goes, I see something that no one else in the world sees, but because, I'm going to give it a try. And even the Cowboys are like, nah, we don't want this. It's embarrassing to the game. That was disgusting.
You could see the embarrassment on Chris Butler's face when, one, he had to award the try, and two, he had to give the explanation as to how, and he had to turn around and go, he can't just sit there and throw the video referee under the bus. He has to turn around and say, we've looked at it, and you can see his face just going, like, he knows that there's going to be like 100 messages on his phone from his boss when he gets back. Graham Annesley's going to have to go in there and apologise to everybody.
Yeah, look, my thoughts go out to Graham Annesley, and
my thoughts go out to Chris Butler,
because he's looked at that and gone, you know what? There hasn't been a real controversy this weekend. Vegas was well refereed. I think exceptionally well refereed. This week, okay, had Ricky Stewart, refs, as he does every single week, win, lose or draw, and then that happened with about 10 minutes to go on the last one. You can just see him go.
You just see Graham Annesley go, oh man,
the colour drained out of his face.
I nearly had a 4-day week. I didn't have to work on Monday.
Sorry, Graham.
Yeah. I don't think Casey Badger will be in the box next weekend. Finally, Dan, highlight, lowlight of the weekend. What was your highlight? Well, not your weekend, because it's a split weekend.
Yeah, double weekend.
What was your highlight, lowlight?
Look, I was going to say Vegas, but that's old and tired. That was weeks ago.
Look, I will say, this the first time I've been on there, Vegas was a huge success as far as I see it. Congratulations to all the teams that went over there as well. I think the NRL maybe got it right. Can adjust it, can tweak it a little bit. But yeah, congratulations to everyone there. I'm leaving Vegas out of a highlight or a low light. Where are you going?
My highlight is one that I'm going to discuss because I don't think we're going to discuss it very often. That's the Dragons. More so Kyle Flanagan. Now, he came in under a lot of criticism from me and you, and had a great game. And I like that he got up and he pointed to the Dragons badge. I know it was pointed out last year, he pointed at the Dogs badge, and he pointed at the Roosters badge.
And the Sharks when he got his first try.
He keeps getting wristled, and it's not like he said, I know Cronulla was a bit like this, but he's not saying, I need to go, I'm too good for this. They're saying you're not good enough, go prove yourself.
Yeah.
He scored a ripper of a try, got up, pointed. I'm behind it, and he didn't to his credit say, this is my house, when they were 40 points behind. I am not willing to say that he's the answer there at 6, but I think it's a bloody good start for him and Hunt, and I think the Dragons played exceptionally well. I know the Titans were deplorably bad, But you beat what's ahead of you. Congrats to the Dragons. You're my highlight.
My highlight of the week, again, is a team. I'm going to go Canberra Raiders. You and I wrote them off and said that a packed house on Thursday night at McDonald Road Stadium, the Newcastle fans, we wrote them off and said they were absolutely gone. They ran out without Jack White and they don't really have a superstar player anymore. Elliot Whitehead out injured, suspended, whatever it is. I looked at that Canberra team and just thought, oh, man, they may be in a battle in the bottom six here. And they went out and absolutely pumped Newcastle. Now, you yourself said that Newcastle may not be a top 8 team this year. They caught everyone by surprise. Kalen Ponga had a tremendous run of form. That was a huge win from Canberra. Newcastle got to be better. Canberra, you are my highlight.
Absolutely.
What's your low light?
My low light, one, because we won't get to do this very often, and two, they didn't score a single point this weekend. It was the Penrith Panthers. Fresh off embarrassing the entire country, ourselves included, because, you know, we go for the Aussie sides in these games. They didn't score a point. They could still be attacking now. Melbourne were out on their feet. No Cam Munster. No hope, we say. They go out and beat Penrith, who you just couldn't score for their lives. And boy, was it fun.
Now, it was a lot of fun. Now, the Panthers fans didn't take it real well because all the dummies got thrown out of the cot. There was an earthquake.
Yeah, look, that was Mother Nature saying, this is terrible.
Yeah,
Let's get a distraction.
What a dreadful game.
I think they'll be fine. But they were bad, and I like bagging them, and this might be the only chance I get.
My low light has to be the Dolphins. That was a dreadful performance out there at Suncorp. I know they scored 18 points, whatever. 18 really, really undeserved points. That team, you know, to leave out Avarillo, to not be able to name competent footballers out there. Hammer didn't look like he wanted to play. No, they've got arguably one of the 3 best centres in the game, and the NRL's leading try scorer standing out on the right edge, and they kept attacking left to Tessie New. You deserve it if you name Tessie New. You are the low light of the week. Dan,
Talk to me, Terry.
it's time for some top sport tips.
I'm feeling a redemption round coming.
My God, we were terrible. Now, as an update, I successfully tipped the Sydney Roosters, despite the fact that I forgot about that.
Yes.
And the Parramatta Eels for 2 points. I got 6 games wrong, including our money ball, so I owe $7 so far.
I think I'm the same.
You successfully tipped the Storm
Yep.
and the Eels.
The Eels, yep.
Got our money ball wrong.
Yep.
You two owe $7.
You're guilty.
We're
Now,
on 2 points each.
Just a big shout out to Tristan, who jumped on Super Duper Saturday last week and confirmed that he will match our combined losing total, which may send all 3 of us broke if we keep tipping this badly.
It can only get better from here.
Oh, I hope so.
So we're on 2 points each.
Yes. What's the start? Something to
It's a
build on.
start where it can only get better. Now, Thursday night footy. The 2 losers of Vegas, the Broncos and the South Sydney Rabbitohs, take each other on at Suncorp Stadium. I didn't like what I saw from South Sydney in their performance against Manly. I think if you get overrun by Luke Brooks,
Fair.
Jack White, will he be back? Will he?
I think he is, isn't he? Or is
could
he
be.
3 games?
Yeah, it could be another game that he's missing.
Don't know, don't care.
Don't know, don't care. I think that the Broncos, their grand final hangover will now be out. That's your excuse. I'm going to tip the Broncos at home.
Yeah, at Suncorp, you got to go with Brisbane. It's with 0 confidence that I tip, but I'm tipping Brisbane confidently.
Very confidently. Friday afternoon, 6 o'clock at Shark Park in front of a record 30 people this weekend. Sharks take on the Bulldogs. Now, a lot to like from Cronulla's performance on the weekend over in New Zealand. Same time slot, so 7-day turnaround. Huge defensive effort. Will it have taken a lot out of the Sharks? Probably.
I hope not. They got a week.
However, if they were playing a good side, I'd be like, you can have an excuse. You're up against the Bulldogs, who looked absolutely dreadful on the weekend. Josh Addo-Carr injured. I'm going to tip the Sharks in our money ball. This one's worth 2 points, $2 if we get it wrong.
Big pressure.
I am going to pick the Sharks at home.
I'm going to tip the Bulldogs because I tipped the Warriors last week and the Sharks won, which is far more important to me than $2. Give me the Bulldogs. But so help me flip if we lose this game after that performance last week. I'm not going to say it undoes a lot of the good work, but geez, it's not a good start. Sharks will win, but I'm tipping the Dogs.
Friday night footy at Penrith.
They're going to score a point this week.
I don't know. They're up against the Eels. Now, they probably will score a point, but the Eels looked really good in patches. Now, it's going to come down to Mitch Moses' injury.
Yep.
Penrith don't enter the competition in good form. They lost to Wigan. They lost now to Melbourne without scoring a point, and I'm going to tip them.
I think they bounce back now.
I think they bounce back.
Everyone knows that if Penrith lose the World Cup Challenge in round 1, that they go on to have no success in the season. They won the premiership last year. Mm-hmm. I ain't worried, and I think they dust Parramatta. I thought Parramatta were very good on the weekend.
In patches.
They were in patches. Yeah, look, Moses didn't look particularly good. Injury affected, of course. Mm-hmm. I think they'll be good. Geez, Bryce Cartwright's going to be fun to watch this year.
Yeah, it's a cardy party. I'm taking Penrith.
Penrith for me, at home, they're derby.
It's 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon down in Canberra.
Back.
It is meant to be stinking hot down in Canberra. It's Saturday in this time slot as well. The Tigers in 9th.
Yep.
Yeah,
nice.
they're back.
Perfect. He'll be able to
get their 2 points. It's the first time we're going to see the Benji Marshall Rain team.
Proper.
Yeah, I'm not counting last year as well. That was Tim Sheen's. Yep. Give those records to him. Mm-hmm. Up against the Raiders at home now. It would be so Raider-like to go up to Newcastle and absolutely thump the Knights and come down and lose to the Tigers. They're not going to do that. I am picking the Canberra Raiders to win this game and win this well. I think Canberra will win this 13+. It's my tip of the week.
I like it, but I also hate it. Again, we got to go different. I'm tipping the Tigers.
Oh, you've already gone one different, Danny. You don't have to
we're going 2 because I do not like Canberra. They had a good game last week, but they were boring. They were dire. Newcastle completed at like 7%. Canberra, to their credit, tucked the ball under and ran. That's a round 1 thing. Now, the Tigers are playing round 1 technically for them, so I might eat these words. But I'm going to go the Tigers. I think it'll just be one of those boring 20-18 sort of games. Sounds more exciting than it will be. This will be a mistake-a-thon. The Tigers get home.
5:30 Saturday afternoon up in Country Bank Stadium in North Queensland.
High-flying Cowboys.
The Cowboys take on the Newcastle Knights. The Knights, you feeling a bounce back, or are we going to take the Cowboys at home here?
Taking the Cowboys at home. Now, not for the reasons that Newcastle are bad. I just think that forward pack. I looked at the Newcastle forward pack last week and I thought, oh, God. Were they this bad last year? Sophides looked 50. Mm-hmm. They looked terrible. Dylan Lucas played okay until he had to go in the centres, so I'm not looking too much into that. But, and I never thought I'd say these words, they missed Lachlan Fitzgibbon in a big way. Mm-hmm. He just... There was no threat from the forwards. Oh, no, Frizzell scored a really good try, but Tyson Frizzell could play to his 100. I just feel they missed that out wide. Maybe that Paul Pierce or Pierce Paul is the answer. Had about 1 million offloads, so I might eat it. Cowboys for me.
I too am going to take the North Queensland Cowboys at home.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I don't like the look of Newcastle. This time last year, I'm taking Newcastle by 20. Mm-hmm. I think the Cowboys are going to run up their for and against again and give the Knights an absolute hiding.
Jeez, a few turn-ups this week. Wow, woo.
7:30 Saturday night, the Melbourne Storm hosting the New Zealand Warriors. Now, this is the first time in a long time this game hasn't been the Anzac Day clash. Of course, that's going to be over in New Zealand this year. Look, the Storm, gutsy last week. The Warriors beat themselves.
Yeah, big time.
Up 12-0 after 10 minutes and then just took the foot off the accelerator. I thought Sean Johnson looked really frustrated that things just weren't going his way out there. How's that going to go over in Melbourne? I'm not too sure. I think the Warriors have the tools to do it. One of the big things they have to do, if Shans Nickel-Clockstar is not back this week, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck has to go to fullback. Mm-hmm. The young kid did well, but he's not Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. You got to get him as involved as you can. I didn't like him in the centres, and when you turn around and you can say that Jesse Ramian actually gave him a bath and got over the top of him, you got to put him at the fullback. I am going to tip the Storm to win this game.
Yep, I expect a big Warriors bounce back, but I'm going to tip the Storm too. They got Cam Munster to come back into that side. They showed defensive resolve, probably matched by the Sharks last 60 minutes. Didn't see much of that over the weekend. A lot of points, obviously, round 1. I like what I saw from both teams in patches. I just think Melbourne, if this game's across Tasman, particularly from the Warriors, I think Melbourne get home in a close one. Maybe the game of the round, who knows? So I'm up.
Sunday afternoon, we have the Manly Seagulls up against the Sydney Roosters. Now, didn't pick this from Manly. I like the look of them. Tommy Turbo back. Forward pack's looking big and hungry. Luke Brooks looked at home. Not the weight of the world on his shoulders.
It was nice to see.
Had a nice halfback next to him as well.
For the first time in years.
Yeah, the Roosters were probably the most impressive team in the fact that they got over the top of the Broncos. No one gave them any hope of going over there and winning it. How are you leaning on this one, Dan? Because I am going to go against you and I'm going to tip the Eagles.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm going to go the Roosters. Nice pick. Dom Young is due back, and I just think that they're going to aerial bombard. Now, it's a shame.
We're going to aerial bombard. Oh, yeah, Saab is out.
If Saab was in against either Tubu or Dom Young,
yeah.
That is the contest. Ruben Garrick's going to play in the centres. I have a feeling he might defend on the wing a little bit. We'll see. I'm excited for this game, and I didn't think I would be in the preseason. I'll tip the Roosters just. I think Teddy and Manu, which is very, very good. Of a 2-week layoff, who knows? Could you say it's a lotto land?
No. And the final game of the round, an absolute snooze fest.
The game of the round, Terry.
I probably missed this one. The Dolphins taking on the St. George Illawarra Dragons, high-flying Dragons. I'm not even going to get into it on this one, Dan. I'm just going to tip the Dragons, just because.
I'm tipping the Dolphins because, God, I might regret this. They can't possibly be as bad as they were last week. The Dragons can't possibly be as good. I think they both come back to earth a bit and the Dolphins get it in an absolute stinker of a game. If
the Dolphins win, it'll be a good game. That's all I can say.
It could legitimately be 2-0, Terry.
Oh, this is dreadful. Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by our good friends at Top Sport. Don't forget to like and subscribe where you can. Watching the channels, give us a like, it helps with the algorithm.
It's good to have Terry back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Is it?
Is it?
I'm loving this football thing. It's really, really good. I got nothing to plug this week. Can you please like and subscribe? I beg of you. We're over 300 now, which is really
Go back and watch the Super Duper Saturday if you missed it, because the content on that was great.
That actually legitimately worked so much better than I thought. So thank you to everyone involved with that. And I really mean that. We went way over $500. Just a rare success.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Speaking of success, Rugby League's back.
Go the Sharks.